find S of t. By the way, again, this is 4.9, number 55. That was your question, right? Yes. Alright, so find it when acceleration equals t squared 4t plus 6. And we have the initial conditions that s of 0 is 0, s of 1 is 1. Oh, wow, I totally wrote down the wrong question. Is that right? Anyone? Pretty sure I just wrote the wrong question. So let's start that over. Find s of t when the acceleration function is 10 sine t plus 3 cosine t. Our initial conditions are s of 0, 0, and s of 2 pi, 12. Okay, I believe that is the... I don't know what you mean by test. So I'm looking at the chat and someone said test. Okay, but I believe this is the right question. Okay. So again, I don't know what GT means. Alright, we'll move on. Alright, so what we're going to do is we need to find... Yeah, it's the right one. Sorry, just checking if chat worked. Okay. Alright, we're good. So what we're going to do is we're going to find v of t. Okay. And then we'll find s of t, because again, the antiderivative of a of t is s of t, and then the antiderivative of the antiderivative of a of t is v of t, velocity, and then the antiderivative of velocity is s of t, which is distance. Okay. So we're going to anti-differentiate 10 sine t. Okay. The antiderivative of sine is negative cosine. And the antiderivative of cosine is sine. So this is our velocity function. This is the antiderivative. Now the problem we have is that we have no initial condition for velocity. We don't have like a v of 0 equals 0. So we're actually kind of stuck with this c. And we're going to have to go on to find s of t, take the antiderivative again, without finding c. So that's why we have two initial conditions, because in the end one of them will help us find c, this current c. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and find s of t. Okay. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to, the antiderivative of negative cosine. So, again, you go off to the side. I'll just do it right here. And you got sine, cosine, negative cosine. This is how derivatives work. So if you want to do the antiderivatives, if you're not sure what the antiderivative of negative cosine is, just do this. And then from here I know that if I had to go backwards, meaning the antiderivative, negative cosine goes to negative sine. And 3 sine, since sine taking the antiderivative, it will go back down to negative cosine. The antiderivative of c is ct, and then we have our new constant term, which is d. Alright, so let me double check. Some people are writing something in the chat. Okay. Alright, let's see. Negative cosine. Alright. You guys are talking in the chat, not sure what you're saying, but right now this is s of t. Okay. So antiderivative of the sine goes to negative cosine, antiderivative of negative cosine goes to negative sine. Okay. Alright, so I'll wait for fat baby giraffe. I would it's a funny name. Not sure what else to call you then. I'll wait and see if you have a question about what just happened. Good? Okay. Alright, where were we? Oh, okay, so now we have C and D. So now we're going to use our initial conditions to find C and D. So initial condition 1, S of 0 equals 0. So that's negative 10 sine of 0 minus 3 cosine of 0. C times 0 plus D equals, well, 0. Okay. So that's gone because sine of 0 is 0. Cosine of 0 is 1. So this is going to get us negative 3 plus D equals 0. And then when we solve for D, that's no good. Sorry about that. Erased too much. So D 0. So D equals 3. Okay, Alex is good. Alright, so now that was the initial condition to find D. Now we can plug in D, go back and find C. So our second initial condition is S of 2 pi is 12. So when we plug in 2 pi, we're going to get negative 10 sine of 2 pi minus 3 cosine of 2 pi plus C times 2 pi plus D is 3, and equals 12. I might have gone off the screen on that one. Let me move this over a little bit. And okay, so then we just solve for C. Alright, again, sine of 2 pi is 0, so that's gone. Cosine of 2 pi is 1, so we get negative 3 again, plus 2 pi C plus 3 is 12. We have these 3's cancel here, so we get 2 pi C equals 12. And when we solve for C, we get 12 over 2 pi, which is 6 over pi. You could write that as a decimal. So I mean, you can take your calculator and plug that in. But I'm just going to leave it as 6 over pi. So final answer, S of t is negative 10 sine t minus 3 cosine t plus 6 over pi t. Okay. And then plus d, which is 3. Okay. Let me check to make sure that it is correct. It is correct. So any questions on that one?